Patterns, trends, solutions. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks for the wonderful introduction, and thanks to CloudPoint for having me. I'm super excited about this. This is something I'm really passionate about. Like Bill mentioned, I'm here and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've got a wide range of GIS experience all the way from cadastral survey team in Alaska to being actual program back end and front end work here in Minneapolis and wide application of sciences. And as you can see, living in Minnesota, it makes it very easy to be a sportsman. So those are kind of my hobbies. And so now you know a little bit about me. So what we're going to do here is just talk about I basically divvied up into two halves. First is,
Yep.
and then the second half will be on more public works focused. So give me a second here. Get a bit of a delayed response. There we go. So the first thing I want to talk to you about today is Geonet. So this is basically, it's a way in which our solutions team can organize their work. So there's basically, if you find something wrong with our software, et cetera, and you're probably not the only one, there's two ways to submit that as a problem. One is through tech support, the other is through Geonet. Now, what I love about Geonet here is if you haven't used it before, it's a great receptacle for information, but also we've got developers and the like commenting directly on it. But the best part about it is you can like a comment. So if someone has a problem with it, say going back to model builder to Python script, that functionality wasn't in ArcGIS Pro for a long time, and people got really fed up, and there was like 10,000 likes on it, and literally the developers were like, hey, we need to move this to ahead of our work schedule. So that's a way that you can influence how Esri kind of takes care of business. So that's kind of cool. Meetups, I just want to touch on this real quick. If you're not a part of this, you totally should be. It's monthly or bi-month, every other month. Meetup, just Google ArcGIS solutions for local government, and you'll get on a meeting invite list, and it'll send you a calendar update for these events, and it'll put it on your calendar events. They're a great way to stay informed. And the early adopter community, I just wanted to mention that real quick because I am going to mention it later on when I talk about field maps. But the important thing is I get this question a lot that customers ask, Mitch, I want to be on like the razor's edge of Esri. Like I want to know what's going on and I want to be a part of it. The early adopter community is for you. So we have this group within Esri, like any other software company, we've got professional services, we've got sales, we've got the tech support, but kind of like this unsung group is called the patterns and practices. And basically what they do is they just study how our industry, so I work specifically in government, they study how government uses GIS. And they've divided that up into 9 patterns of use that you see right here. And that basically all use of GIS follows one of these patterns. And then what we do is we create industry solutions on top of that. So the idea is that we're building these pre-baked solutions that are just kind of ready and waiting for your data because everyone has parcels, everyone has hydrants, everyone has utilities in the ground. So it's very easy to build software around that to do different things. All right, now this is going to be, I'm going to quickly mention this. This is going to be a little bit more focused for the GIS people in the room. So anyone that considers themselves a full-time GIS person is our field operations and field maps. So this is how Esri visualizes how field operations generally work. And when we break this down into a usable format, so pay attention here as I flip through the slide, we break it down, those patterns, into different applications that take care of each stage of that work function. Now, the important thing to remember here is that it's going to be a best of breed solutions between all the solutions that you see right here. Now, working top to bottom, the first is Explorer for mapping. We have Collector for collecting data. The next one's Navigator. We have Workforce is the red one. And then bottom one is Tracker. Now, all of these applications are going to be move into a a common platform that we're going to call field maps. Okay. Another important thing to remember here, now we're going to follow this. This is the cyclical pattern of work that we see again. And I'm going to draw your attention to the lower side of the screen where we have Survey 123 and ArcGIS Quick Capture. Important thing to take home message is with those applications will remain separate. So you do not, they will remain entirely separate applications supported separately. Everything else that you see here, going back to this slide, will roll into field maps. This is all happening quickly. We came up with a beta program earlier on this year, so some of you might have been a part of that. There is a QR code right there, so if you wanted to go ahead and scan that right now, you can, but you just kind of see a snapshot of the release schedule coming up. So don't get too concerned about this if you do have collector applications and things like that, because they'll be supported for quite some time now. So what I want to touch on real quick, Survey 123, if you're using our mobile solutions, that's great. If you're not, you totally should be. So I get this question a lot, Mitch, when should I be using Survey 123? And so the question is right there is, are you trying to replace paper forms? If the answer to that is yes, then the application is likely going to be Survey 123. Quick Capture is an awesome new application that came out this year. This is what we call our Big Button mobile app, and this is by far the simplest way to capture field data. So looking at the screen on our right-hand side, all of these observed hazards, we have animal hazard, flood hazard, occupants, so on and so forth. Look like this is used for urban search and rescue. We can make those buttons look and say anything we want. We can tie them to data that you have existing, so we're updating data on the fly. We can, when we take a picture, we can route that into Workforce in the field apps to allow you to take a picture of a problem and create a work order on demand. So it's very cool, and it's made for at-speed data collection, very rapid, very quick data collection. An operations dashboard has just finally, like 2 years ago, they finally blew up. It's been a great technology forever, but now it seems like people are really seeing the power of dashboards. Some of you might have seen, if you watch the news, when the COVID thing broke out, they had the Johns Hopkins dashboard. That's an ArcGIS dashboard, so that's our technology. So everyone on this call could build one of those dashboards because it's free data sitting out there. Operations dashboard is where you're going to be plugging in all this. So if you've got collector apps sitting out there, you've got workforce things, you've got a public comment section where people can report problems and stuff like that. You can plug that into an operations dashboard and control it, ask questions of the data, create external views for public transparency, and create internal views for more in-depth analysis. App builders, I just wanted to touch on real quick because it's super important. We basically, if you're not using these two app builders, you should be, because Esri, like I said long ago, we basically took the programming out of all of this. So you don't need to be a programmer to build sweet web applications. And there's basically two ways to do it in the ArcGIS atmosphere. One is the web app builder on the left. The other is the experience builder on the right. Just for clarification, they will remain, Esri's current trajectory with these products is for them to remain separate, and they will be run in parallel. And then professional development, got to stay on top of it. It's so important. And the take-home message with this is, if you're not using all of the online tools that Esri has for education and things like that, you should be. That's how I learn different skills to do my job. So there's no secret recipe that I deal with. It's I have the same resources that everyone on this call does. So there's a lot of information out there. Esri's catalog for subscription paying customers is absolutely immense, and please check that out. I just want to touch on this real quick because we need to make a differentiator. I spent some time with Jack last year, Jack Dangerman, the CEO of our company, really bright, interesting man. Um, he really spent a lot of time on this because you should be challenging yourself, and I'm going to challenge everyone on this call here. Are you using your GIS for location intelligence? Are you using it for, now looking at the bottom of this, are you using it for planning and design? Are you using your GIS for decision making? Are you using your GIS to create action in your organization? At that point, you have a location intelligence. On the top, you just have a GIS. Now, it's a very, very important distinction between the two, because this is a technology that can be transformative to your organization and totally should be. So with that, we're going to do a little bit more switch gears here. I just quickly wanted to touch on that stuff because it's really important. I'm a big believer in patterns and trends. I'm just going to take a quick break here for about a minute and let you kind of peruse through this article, and specifically the one on the bottom, the lower half. And the one that really stuck out to me was on the bottom here, this one, as the United States infrastructure ages and funding measures are often unable to keep up, the search for a solution has led many to consider preservation instead of building new. Because of this, many public agencies are shifting their focus and funding to preserving their infrastructure. And I'm sure many of you people are on this call are already following that trend, but it's very interesting to follow these trends. Now, so specifically what ArcGIS, we've got an entire sector of our business dedicated to public works. We can help you maintain authoritative inventory of your assets in the field, anything, any asset. We consider everything as an asset. Analyze the effective aging of infrastructure age reports for all of your underground utilities, everything like that. You should be doing all sorts. There's tons of infrastructure age reports that we can do for all sorts of your assets. Capital improvement projects, broadcasting a lot of this information to the public is a big deal now. Defending your argument for more funding, not only through public awareness, but creating data products that help explain your story that you can present to your higher ups as well. And obviously a number of other things that GIS is known for, right? Reducing cost of field operations and maintenance activities, improve operational awareness and response, improve customer service, transparency, accountability. And once again, we do this by following the 9 patterns of use. So once again, we follow these 9 patterns of use. We find out how public works and engineering organizations are using our software or how they're using GIS. And then we create solutions to satiate those needs. Now, this is just a snapshot of the public works pre-built applications that we have. There are many other out there. This is just kind of a snapshot of what we have. So what I'm going to do here is right now I'm just going to jump into a very quick demonstration at this point. And you're still seeing my screen here? I should be viewing the solutions gallery.
Yep, looks good.
All right, great, thank you. So I always start with the solutions page here. It's all separated out into industry. So I'm just going to hop onto local government. And as you can see, we're just going to jump into public works right here. And then we have an idea of some of the pre-built applications. Any one of these I can jump into and I can just test them out to say that this is a view direct view application. And then also what I like to do, we also have a gallery page. So I can just type in something like right-of-way. And now look at all of these right-of-way applications we have, from reviewers and internal analysis to public dashboards and permit applications, all pre-built for right-of-ways. Another one I always jump into, because I help the city of Shawnee kind of build this. So this is a part of their Open Data Hub page, and it's at the city of Shawnee, Kansas. They're only responsible for pavement management and stormwater management. So the idea is we created a separate home page for this. It was a hub page. And then the idea was to create a dashboard like this, where you can see every bit condition ratings for every lane mile of pavement that they have within the entire city. Now, moreover, all this data you see right here is tied to collector applications. So when they're doing operations in the field, it's feasible that I could refresh this browser and we could see numbers change because they're live. Most importantly, for those of you on the line that are looking or have heard of an asset management system, the data that you see right here lives in a separate database, in a CityWorks database, asset management system. We're just viewing the data in an ArcGIS online dashboard. So very cool. And same thing with stormwater management. I mean, look at how comprehensive this is. We've just got all sorts of information for pipe inspections. Very cool. And the last one I want to show you right here is City of Topeka Open for Performance page. What they did is on the main page, they took all 6 of their strategic goals within their city, and they created a separate page for them. So they say, how does Topeka invest in infrastructure? Well, we've got major streets under construction here. We could link right here to a capital improvement dashboard, but I won't for sake of brevity. Public meetings, more stuff on, we've got pavement condition index, potholes, and I'll stop right there, cracks filled by linear feet. I'll just stop right there, but I'll just draw your attention to the right-hand side of the screen. We're about a third of the way down this page. And I think it's important to highlight, I've worked in government from federal all the way down to city at every level. And in my opinion, from the public's perspective, it's such a what have you done for me today kind of attitude. I can look at this page. It's what have you done for me today? Look, it's all here. So I just think that's super cool. All right, coming back to the PowerPoint. You still see my PowerPoint here?
Yep, looks good.
Awesome. So moving on, there's a few other things I just want to touch up as we conclude. The idea of real-time capabilities. Now, real-time can be a number of different things, but in the Esri atmosphere, the premier way to do it is through GeoEvent Server. And we can basically tap into anything that provides a live feed and then do something with it. So I put my own text in here for those of you that have taken a programming class. That's the idea with GeoEvent, is that we can have we can tap into a live feed and we can analyze that data with filters on the fly. We can have processors, we can have event handlers, we can have listeners. So if this happens, do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then send an email to Bill, and send me a text. That's the idea behind RealTime GIS. It's a story of integration. We can track, manage, and monitor assets in real time and gain awareness. Now don't let this fool you. Doesn't have to be specifically a truck. It's not limited to things like snowplows. Think any type of sensors. In big cities, I helped the city of St. Louis. They wanted funding for compressed natural gas garbage trucks. And so we set up sensors so we could do microclimating within the city, so that they could say, yeah, when the temperature is above 90 degrees at this part of town, the atmosphere is literally toxic, and we have data to prove it. Civic engagement is one of the biggest aspects of all of the ideas that we should be thinking. We do this through ArcGIS Hub. This is Open Data Hub. This is how we broadcast all of our information. And within that hub, we have the solutions that people can go to. There's also story maps that really help tell the story of your organization and what you're trying to do. So key takeaways for this, pre-built applications. 90% pre-built, you configure the last 10%. Very important distinction there, because gone are the days when we would customize things. We don't customize anything anymore. We configure it. That way, when we update our software, all our configurations are still there. Real-time capabilities, operate, have the they have the ability to improve decision making, analyze streams of data, create patterns, and that's not limited to GeoEvent Server. ArcGIS field apps and things like that can track people with their cell phone, right? So if we wanted to track crews, things like that, we can do that via GPS as well. And then last but not least, a collection of citizen engagement solutions enable your organization to tell the story, improve transparency, and more effectively engage with the citizens. So thanks so much. I'll be on the line here, so I'll be in the breakout room. I left my email address in there, so feel free to take that down. I'm a full-time GIS nerd, so feel free to ask me any type of GIS related question. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mitch. Guys, if you have any questions, we are definitely ahead of schedule, which is okay. So if any questions for Mitch going over his presentation, go ahead and drop those in the chat room now, and we will get to those. While we're waiting here, let's see. Up next, we've got Hunter with his hub. So Hunter, we'll give people a couple minutes here if we need to take any questions. But if you want to start getting your stuff ready.
Yeah, I can get ready.
Yeah, any questions for me? We can do a quick Q&A if you like.
Yep, nothing popping up now, but guys, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
You can answer those live, or we can just type chat and answer back to you, no problem.
You know, while we're waiting for a question here, oh, what is the difference between hub and sites? Okay, great question. So think of hub. Hub is like the receptacle for it, right? You have a primary hub site. And off of that, we can build a site or a page. We're using site and page interchangeably. You can build a site for public works. I can build a site for the assessor. I can build a site for so on and so forth, a different department, an initiative that we're trying to do. We can build a site for that. And a site will live within the hub page, primary hub page. Does that make sense? I want to just, if that doesn't make sense, I can continue to go over it.
Got another one here for you, Mitch. Will field maps replace all the individual apps?
Yep. So they're going to replace all of the individual apps that. I can go back to my screen here if we like for clarification.
Yep, absolutely. We got plenty of time.
Sure, cool. Share. Let me know.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So all of the applications that you see here, right? So top to bottom, Explorer, Collector in blue, Navigator, Workforce in red, and the bottom one, Tracker. All of these will move into field apps with added capabilities. So that was kind of the idea behind this, is that all of these applications are so heavily used for the cyclical pattern of defined work that we've seen in the industry, that it's going to be easier to add them all into one programming platform where we can add just a ton more capability to it. And the important thing with that is Survey 123 and Quick Capture will be excluded from that. So they will remain on their own separate development platform.
And then just as a follow-up, is there a sunset date announced for those, or will there be? Do you know any dates for that?
I don't know. I know that it's releasing quickly. But my personal opinion and those of you this is my personal opinion, and those of you that have been in the GIS game a long time, is that with a lot of the stuff with Esri, I'm not the first to move to it. You know, when 10.8 comes out, I'm going to wait till 10.8.1 comes out. And that's just my personal experience. That's just the type of person I am. So I would be exploring the capabilities, but I wouldn't be in an immediate rush to move to them. Now, if you had a larger scale plan for a large scale new, like if you're doing some new things with collector, and we've got a larger project going on, I might want to look to use field apps as my go forward strategy for that moving forward, right? But anything you have existing, like I'd probably just leave that for now.
Mitch, if I can step in just for a second, I agree with absolutely everything you're saying. We've even had conversations previous to this about field maps and whether or not we would talk about it.
Yep.
Right now, the beta, it looks like collector. If you get into the beta program, and there's a reason we can't show it because it's in beta, but if you get into the beta program and you do go through all the steps to look at it, it looks like ArcGIS Collector right now.
Yep.
That's because it's beta 1, and they start with something. I'm not saying they started with Collector. I don't know how the development works, but if you would open it up and it's like it has a new branding, but it's Collector. That's because that's where the beginning. They want to get that into it and then be able to kind of work from there, because that is by far the most popular app. So we'll talk a little bit more about those individual apps, but yeah, I kind of concur, and I've actually said that very same thing. I usually wait till the 0.1 version for rolling out. So anyway.
So I can tell you've been in the game a while.
A little bit.
Perfect. Well, that's great, guys. If anybody has anything else for Mitch, obviously you can get in touch with him directly, whether it's through the chat room here in the showcase. Like he said, he left his email up there as well. You guys get in touch with him directly. But Mitch, thanks so much.